Namaskar viewers, I Dr. Renu Tomar welcome you on CSE Gurukul lectures. Friends, in our previous lectures we have been discussing various policies which have been given by educationists and the government for education system. We had discussed in our previous lectures how those policies had an impact on the Indian education system. In our last lecture, we started discussing about NEP 2020. Friends, if you recall, in that lecture, we talked about school education, how school education has been discussed by NEP 2020. To recall, in NEP 2020, the aim is to have 100% literacy in 2030. So, 2030 has been specified as a target for achieving 100% literacy and numeracy. So, friends, carrying on our lecture, we would like to discuss again how school education system has been touched upon of NEP 2020. So, continuing the lecture, friends, in this NEP 2020, there is something which has been introduced, is that the pupil teacher ratio needs to be decreased. Presently, as all of us know, that usually pupil teacher ratio is 40:1. So, NEP 2020 has remarked that pupil teacher ratio should not be more than 25:1. That means one teacher should be teaching maximum 25 students. Then there would be walking groups and cycling groups. Why walking groups and cycling groups? Because education system is not something which is to be taught inside the class. This has been realized by NEP 2020. So, the education, the learning can take place even in the walking groups. It can take place even in the cycling groups. So, the education has to be touched upon through sports, extracurricular activities, curricular activities, having walking groups or cycling groups. The most important thing which has been made mandatory in NEP 2020 is that the counseling has to be there, particularly for the secondary students. So, it will be mandatory for the school to have a counselor. The school will also be required to have a trained social workers. The social workers as well as counselors can be picked up from the community. They can be part and parcel of the schools as well, like they can be providing their services to different schools which are nearby, but the counseling is mandatory. The students should not miss on the counseling. Open and distance education, this is a point, friends, which we need to look into. Open and distance education has particularly been touched upon by NEP 2020, and very important and special emphasis has been given to open and distance education by NEP 2020. It has been realized that open and distance education can be tool for increasing GER, gross enrollment. For increasing gross enrollment, it is very important that open and distance educations are re-looked into. That means it will not be just program wise, it will be rather course wise, credit wise, and student can have education in any remote corner of the country as well. So, the child who is staying in some remote corner of the country will also have access to the same quality of education which a child living in some metro is having. This is at the center of NEP 2020. It has also emphasized that the special educators has to be there for Divyang as well as for the students of special needs. So, special educators has to be provided by the schools. To provide special educators, what the schools can do is that the teachers who are already staying or already teaching in the schools, they can also go for training themselves, learning special education through different modes, either the distance education mode or the regular universities or the MOOCs. MOOCs has been specially emphasized in NEP 2020. Another important thing which has been touched upon is that the parents have to be trained. How the parents shall be trained and why the parents shall be trained. Parents have to be trained, friends, because parents also should realize that they are responsible for education of their children. It is very important that the parents are also involved in the education of their children. How can they be involved? Because usually the problem which is faced by the grassroots level officers and grassroots level academicians as well as the school level authorities is that the parents don't understand importance of school. They can not play an important role in school management committee. That is why NEP 2020 has realized that the parents shall not only be playing an important role in the education of their children, but also be more participative, as well as they should be trained to become part of school management committee, so that they can play an important role, they can play active role in the management of the school as well as management of the education system for the children. And there has also been discussion about providing special hostels for SC and ST. So friends, this policy has not left equity and equality concept. This policy has also discussed that the quality parameters of the school education system are improved upon. The quantity, the quantum of students is also touched upon by controlling dropout rate, so that the children getting literacy and numeracy are more in numbers in comparison to the previous years. Similarly, the equity and equality is also touched upon. There should be special hostels for SC, ST and women. So these are the things which have been touched upon particularly in the school education by NEP 2020. Friends, now to do some detailing of the points which we have touched upon. The key points I have already discussed with you. Now let us talk about that what all it has come up, so that we can understand that how NEP 2020 is going to revolutionize the education system. School education system in part 1, NEP 2020 has given special importance to early education care because that has been accepted as the foundation of learning. It has also tried to touch upon foundational literacy and numeracy as an urgent and necessary prerequisite to learning. Friends, these are the parts of part 1 school education system. First is early childhood care and education. Second is foundational literacy and numeracy. This has been regarded as an urgent and necessary prerequisite to learning. Third is curtailing dropout rates and ensuring universal access to education at all level. Fourth is how curriculum and pedagogy in the school shall be made holistic, integrated, enjoyable and engaging. Fifth part which they have discussed in part 1, which is on school education, is on teachers, about their recruitment, about their deployment, about their training. Sixth point is about making education equitable and inclusive, learning for all. So this is the point which we were referring to, that is equity and equality of education has to be maintained in India, which is very diverse from the geography point of view, from the cultural point of view, as well as from the language point of view, and from also there is division as far as the monetary thing is concerned. That means this NEP 2020 has tried to cover that the education for all has to be ensured. The quality of education should also be same to everybody, because in the previous policies we have not been able to control the private we came out with the PPP model, that is private public partnership. As a result, we had many private people coming with education organization, may it be at the level of school, may it be level of the colleges, but there the government has not been able to control the education system, that means the quality of education system as well as the making education available, the same quality of education available to every child irrespective of his economic status, that we have not been able to ensure. So, through NEP 2020, the academicians, the educationists who were involved in the policy framing, they have tried to cover that the inclusive education should be there as well as equitable education should be there, and learning for all of the same quality for every child. So, another important thing which has been touched upon in the school education system is that efficient resourcing and effective governance through school complex and clusters has to be ensured. Usually it is found that due to lack of resources, the school complexes and clusters fail. In fact, it has been found that in the huge school complexes, there are at times only one teacher attending to 200 students or 500 students also. The schools does not have ample infrastructure even to the level of having toilets. So, this is something which has been realized by NEP 2020, and they have tried to have the partnership of community as well as have tried to touch that the diversions of funds should be there, so that the resourcing can be done, the efficient resourcing can be done, so that the effective governance can be ensured for school complexes and clusters. By effective governance, what NEP 2020 means is that the school shall have not just the efficient educationists and academicians involved in it, but the school should be able to deliver what it is supposed to. That means the students which are coming out of the school shall be learned as well as happy. So, these are the two things which have been touched upon by NEP 2020. Another point which has been discussed in school education part 1 of NEP 2020 is the setting standards for accreditation for school education. There has been introduction of a body which will be controlling the standards as well as accrediting the school education system, so that the quality of the schools can be controlled as well as the equity can be maintained at the level of school education system. So, friends, getting back to the first point which was about the early childhood care. Friends, about 85% of the children cumulative brain develops before the age of 6. So, as far as early childhood care is concerned, from the education point of view, it should ideally consist of flexible, multifaceted, multi-level, play-based, activity-based and inquiry-based learning. This is something which has been incorporated in NEP 2020, that ECCE shall try to develop with the help of NCERT the teaching material and the learning material which shall be play based, which shall be activity based, which shall be inquiry based, and which should not be rote memory based. Alphabet, languages, numbers and countings have to be stressed upon. The color, shapes, indoor-outdoor plays, puzzles and logical thinking and problem solving through drawing, painting, another visual arts, craft, drama, doing with hands, music, movement, they should be at the center of the education for ECCE for the children who are in the age group of 3 to 6. Early childhood care should be centered upon all those subjects, and how they have to be taught? They have to be taught in the play based activities mode, inquiry based learning, and the education should be very flexible and multifaceted. The books which are to be developed shall be developed keeping in view that the children in the age group of 0 to 3 have the different perspective. Similarly, the children who are in the age group of 3 to 8, they have different requirement. At 3 to 8, generic numeracy can be introduced, the generic language can be introduced, alphabets can be transformed into sentences, as well as the basic writing skill can be introduced. Friends, in these policies, Anganwadi centers have been merged with the formal education sector. That means it has been incorporated that the Anganwadi system, which is responsible for universal access to ECCE, shall be strengthened by improving the quality of the Anganwadi teachers, as well as providing more resources, and it shall become part and parcel of the school system. That means the child who is there part of the Anganwadi centers can straight away move to the school, and he should not feel alienated when the child moves from Anganwadi to the formal school. So, they should become part and parcel, and Anganwadi teachers, the workers who are involved in taking care of children in Anganwadi, they should be made more better teachers. In fact, they should be introduced with the learning concepts also. They should understand that from Anganwadi the child is going to go for preparatory classes or Bal Vatika, that is before class 1, and it is the responsibility of the Anganwadi to prepare the children for the preparatory classes, and the education at Anganwadi as well as Bal Vatika will be primarily play based. Learning shall be focusing on cognitive, affective and psychomotor abilities and early literacy and numeracy only. Meal programs will also be enhanced to such a manner that the health checkup as well as meal programs will be monitored and available for preparatory classes students of Anganwadi as well as primary school. So, health checkup which were restricted to Anganwadi only, they will be given to the children who shall be in the preparatory classes as well as Bal Vatika also, and similarly Anganwadi children will also have the meal program, and as far as meal is concerned, that also has been looked into by NEP 2020, that in case the children cannot have good meals or the meals prepared because of having problem as far as resources are concerned, then it will be responsibility of the school and Anganwadi to ensure that the children get nutritious meal by availing fruits, by providing them milk. Those things can be provided to the children so that the health of the children can be strengthened. As far as Anganwadi workers are concerned, they would be trained in the systematic efforts for the pedagogical framework which shall be developed by NCERT. So, friends, for the first time the Anganwadi workers have also been brought into the framework of NCERT, and there would be continuation. So, no part has been left out, there is no gap in this. There should be a systematic progression of the child from one phase to another, from Anganwadi to Bal Vatika and to the other phases also. This has been ensured in NEP 2020. In fact, as far as the early childhood care is concerned, the curriculum shall be developed by ministries of HRD, Women and Child Development, Health and Family Welfare and Tribal Affairs. So, all these ministries will have to come together to develop education curriculum, and a special joint task force shall be constituted to develop and implement the education curriculum for early childhood care. Friends, why only education ministry is not given this responsibility? The reason being, as far as the children in the age group of 3 to 8, is concerned, the woman and child development is also equally responsible, and health and family welfare will have to look at the health of the children, because it is a saying that healthy child is able to develop more in a much better manner. If the child is not having nutritional diet, then the health of the child will be affected, and if health is being affected, the physical and mental health is being affected, then that is going to have an impact on the education of the child. Why tribal affair has been brought into the made responsible for the education of the children? Because tribal affairs understand the needs and the requirement of the children who are living in tribes, and accordingly the school education system can be developed. And apart from that, friends, we discussed in our previous lecture that the tribal languages also need to be taught, because they are the resources, the stories, the knowledge which has been there in our tribes, that is slowly and steadily disappearing. So, NEP 2020 has taken into cognizance the fact that the children who are born in the tribes shall be taught in the manner that they understand that their culture is also beneficial for their education, the culture is beneficial for their life ahead, and the languages which they speak in their tribe is not useless in day to day life, is not useless from the perspective of education system. So, these things have become part and parcel of the education system as far as NEP 2020 is concerned. Friends, foundational literacy and numeracy is the second point which has been covered by by NEP 2020 policy framers in part 1 of school education. The highest priority of education system shall be to achieve the universal foundational literacy and numeracy in primary schools by 2025. So, primary shall be attained by 2025, and by 2030 then literacy and numeracy for secondary education shall also be attained. So, this has been kept in the center for NEP 2020. It has been, friends, we talked about Diksha. This Diksha has been covered in the foundational literacy and numeracy. What is foundational literacy and numeracy? That the child who is out of ECC, the child has to become literate and shall be understand the 3 R's which we usually talk about, the basic arithmetic, the basic reading and basic writing shall be understandable to the children. For that, Diksha has been introduced. Diksha means digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing. So, high quality resources on foundational literacy and numeracy will be made available through Diksha, and Diksha shall be available to children of even who are staying in some remote areas, children who are studying in government schools or the private school. The locations where, as we already discussed, that the hot meals are not possible, the remote areas where the hot meals are not possible, the simple but nutritious meal has to be provided. The example has also been given by NEP 2020 frameworkers that groundnuts and chana can be provided with jaggery, or local fruits can be provided, because they are the best nutritional they have the best nutritional value as far as, and they are also fulfilling as far as food is concerned. They are quite fulfilling for the body also. So, they can replace the nutritious meal if that cannot be cooked in some remote area. A national book promotion policy is also to be formulated due to the result of NEP 2020. For formulating a national book promotion policy, the initiatives will be undertaken and it will be mandatory that the books across geographies, languages of all levels and genres is available, and the children have access to it, as well as quality of those books is maintained. It is very important as far as NEP 2020 is concerned. On the basis of NEP 2020, the second step will be having a policy on national book promotion. The third important aspect which the frameworkers have covered in part 1 of school education is how to curtail dropout rates at all level. Friends, when we talk about GER for grades 6 to 8, it has been found to be 90.9%, while for grades 9 to 10 and 11 to 12 it reduces to 79.3 and 56.5% respectively. From these statistics we can conclude that dropout rate is maximum at the secondary level. So friends, the frameworkers who have given NEP 2020 has also tried to cover that how the grade 9 to 10 and 11 and 12 shall be motivated to stay in the school. For this, RTE has been extended to the age group of 18. That is why because the target is to achieve 100% gross enrollment ratio, not just in the preschool but also at the secondary level by 2030. That is why, to curtail the dropout rate, the vocational education is to be introduced. At what level? At preschool level itself, and it can continue till grade 12. And to ensure that the children understand importance of education, counselors and well-trained social workers needs to be connected to the school complexes and the teachers who are teaching over there. There is also provision for trained and qualified social workers from the civic society, or as well as from the NGOs, as well as Department of Social Justice and Empowerment and government functionaries who are dealing with empowering persons with disabilities at the state and district level. They should also be associated with the school. So, this is also a point which has been covered in NEP 2020. Responsibility has been given to NIOS and state open school to offer the programs in addition to the present programs, so that the different levels can be covered, because that is the only way to control the education, to control the drop rate in the school level, particularly at the secondary level. A, B and C levels equivalent to grades 3, 5 and 8 of the formal school system is to be introduced by NIOS and then state open schools. Secondary education programs which are equivalent to 10th and 12th shall be made vocational oriented, vocational education oriented. There has to be more emphasis on vocational education, on the programs, on the adult literacy and life enrichment programs. So, this responsibility has been given to NIOS as well as other organizations, the state open schools, who are responsible for educating children who are out of the formal education system, but they can have access to non-formal education system. Friends, to involve community as well as alumni, database is to be maintained. So, this is something which we covered in our last lecture also, that this policy has talked about maintaining the database of literate volunteers as well as retired scientists, government, semi-government employees, alumni and educators. Why it has done? That database can be utilized for using the people who are part and parcel of that database as resource person to strengthen the education system, which is in dire need of strengthening as far as the statistics are concerned, which we looked at, that the dropout rate is very high at the secondary level. Another feature which the frameworkers have covered in the school education is about the curriculum and pedagogy. This is something we touched upon in our previous lecture also, that 10 plus 2 has been replaced with the design of 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. What is this 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4? 5, which is a foundation stage, that can also be split into 3 plus 2. That means the children who are going to Anganwadi and the preschool, the primary school, they will be covered under this 5. That means Anganwadi, then class 1, then and class 2. So, both of them will cover ages 3 to 8. Then the next stage will be preparatory stage, which is going to continue for 3 years. This covers grades 3 to 5 and the age group 8 to 11. So, this is 5 plus 3, and next plus 3 is the middle stage, grades 6, 7, 8, which covers ages 11, 12, 11 to 14. So, this is the middle stage which covered these 3 grades and these 3 age group running from 11 to 14. Then there is secondary stage, which is for 4 years, having grades 9 to 12, 9 and 10 in the first phase and 11 and 12 in the second phase, and the age group is 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. So, from 14 to 18, the child who is in the middle stage will be 14 as far as NEP 2020 is concerned. So, in the secondary stage, the children who are either 15 or maybe 14 will enter the secondary stage and stay there for 4 years. All these stages have been covered under RTE also as a result of NEP 2020. This means that the civic society and the government has to ensure that the children till they are 18, from the age group of attaining from the child attaining age of 3 till the child is 18, he or she has to stay in the school. So, friends, what is the pedagogy? We have talked about what is the systematic distribution of the school education system. As far as pedagogy is concerned, the preparatory stage, which will comprise of 3 years, will be depending upon playing, discovery and activity based education model, and foundational stage will try to incorporate some light textbooks as well as aspects of more formal but interactive classroom learning. Holistic development, cognitive development, building character and 21st century skills, that would be at the center of school education. So, child has to develop holistically, cognitive development has to be the fullest, along with building the character, the moral values of the children, and also developing the 21st century skill. So, this is the main aim of the pedagogical aim of school education system from pre-nursery, or we can say from Anganwadi to class 12th. Friends, the secondary stage, which will comprise of 4 stages of multidisciplinary study or building on the subject oriented pedagogical and curriculum style of the middle stage, has been also worked upon, that the critical thinking should be going into it, and there it should be more flexible, and the student shall be provided more choice of subjects. So, friends, in our next lecture we shall be continuing with the same lecture. We shall be discussing the pedagogical aspects which have been discussed in NEP 2020. For the present lecture, I will take your leave. Namaskar. Have a good day.